Watching the movie, I know it's you adapted your own work, but I kept thinking of Rosemary's Baby. Is that an accurate reference that you pulled from?
It is one of the, I would say, influences on me. Always has been. I think it's an amazing masterpiece of a film, and always resonated with the emotions in the film very strongly. And subconsciously, I think, yeah, I did inspire from that film, and maybe some bits of it were written a certain way because of that inspiration. Yeah, the concept and idea behind the film and the final takeaway from the film, so that is inspired from many true stories which I've heard.
Hmm.
And this story is a amalgamation and a concoction of all those stories, and especially the emotions that were felt when I heard about those events. So it tries to reflect those emotions by using this genre.
Idea of Indian horror is, and why Chhorii was the movie to take the plunge with?
That's a great question. I know that Indian horror has been sometimes seen as a B genre, or there was maybe a period of time making cheesy movies. I think that first and foremost, what inspired me to begin my incredible partnership with Vikram, with Chhorii, was Vishal. I mean, ultimately, everything is filmmaker driven and story driven, and if you don't have a great director, you're in big trouble. And a great director can do so much, and I think Vishal's done that. I think when it comes to your question about making something that's, some down the middle horror can be great when you love the characters, and when you care about the characters, that's the only way you can be scared truly, because we can always do a camera trick or a jump scare, but if you care about what that protagonist is going through, then you're feeling the fear with them. And I think that you don't need to deflect if you do that correctly. And I think between what Vishal was able to do, and with the fact that our protagonist as a character is someone you want to invest in right away, and because Nushrratt really put it over the top with her incredible performance, you can get the high level emotion, you can get the elevated sense of taste and style, and really have an amazing cinematic experience, because when you care about the character, the scares can land in a way that you don't need to mix in anything else for it to be a great film.
I couldn't agree with this more, Rohan. When I saw Vishal's lovely original Marathi film Lapa Chappi, and subsequently met him with the desire of wanting to work with Vishal, and as it then transpired to remake his own film, we were always very clear that we wanted to tell a uniquely Indian scary story, but one that contained a certain substance in it, one that was anchored in an emotion. Hopefully we managed to deliver on that. But what we definitely wanted to do was present a new form of storytelling, a new form of horror storytelling.
What sort of horror do you prefer watching?
You can trick people's eyes with the way you move a camera and then surprise them, right? And it's going to have an emotional effect to an extent, not the most, but it's something you can do, and a good director and a good DP can kind of block it out, and we know we're going to trick the audience. The goal isn't to trick the audience, in my opinion, with sustained horror, to your point. It's to subvert their expectations, to have them thinking we're going this direction truly, and then go this direction. And I think that for that to happen, the scares come from your own expectations being surprised. There can be a camera move, there can be a scary looking figure or something surprising, but that only happens if your expectations are truly surprised. And I think that's what Vishal did. And you can only be surprised when you care about the character and the direction they're heading.
If after watching a horror film, if you are not scared sitting at home, or if you have watched it in a theater and if you go back home and if you don't carry that horror with you, then what's the point, right? Otherwise it's just short-lived, right? You have seen a jump scare and you forget about it and you forget about the film. So what's the fun in that, right? I mean, the fun would be if that film has such a long-lasting impact on you and by using horror, there is so much that can be done. So with Chhorii, we have made an attempt to not just make a horror film, but do something different with that genre, tell a much larger story, talk about a much larger issue. And because the kind of genre that it is, which it leaves such a strong impact that people don't forget it, sometimes for days, sometimes for months, and sometimes for years. I feel that the social issue also gets that kind of a prominence there, and it stays with the people's mind and gives them reason to visit this genre again and again.
I feel that scary stories that stay with you the most, irrespective of technique or form, are the ones that amplify emotions of fear that live within. If you're able to tell stories from Chhorii and beyond, which are able to amplify these emotions, I mean, look at Chhorii itself. You've seen the film, and it's so wonderful to hear that. You'll relate to it. This is terror lying just a little outside your comfort zone. I mean, it's scary happening in an environment that you've actually turned to for protection. So if you were to juxtapose that with any situation that you're experiencing terror in a setting that you actually wanted to feel comfortable in, you can just multiply that and take it across in your larger psyche.